Hi, this is Nick Astor with TriplePundit.com. I'm at the International Water Summit, which is an offshoot of the World Future Energy Summit here in Abu Dhabi. I'm here with Linda Macpherson. She is the Chief Reuse Technologist at CH2MHill. Linda, what do we mean when we talk about reuse technology in the context of water and in the context of what CH2MHill is doing?
CH2MHill has a career track, and one of those career tracks is technologists. I'm actually not an engineer, but I work in the area of reuse, doing communication and outreach and education. And CH2MHill realized a number of years ago that there was lots of technologies that we can employ to reuse water membranes and other techniques such as aquifer recharge. But one of the things that was missing was the ability of people to understand the technologies and how they provide safe and sustainable water. So that's where I came in as a reuse communications technologist, to be able to kind of bridge that gap between technology and understanding.
Now, how far along are we with this reuse technology? How close are we to being able to truly reuse what comes out of the tap and cycles back into the tap?
You know, that's a very good question, because in many ways we already are reusing the water in different respects. We just don't know that we are, because all water goes somewhere and all of it goes downstream. But in some places we're beginning to consciously say we can do a better job. We can reuse this water close at home, and we can provide water for that it's fit for the purpose that we need to, whether that be for industrial use purposes, for agricultural purposes, or in some cases actually for drinking water. So we're needing to really relook at the technology and say, where can we provide it most efficiently, closest to home, to get the best benefit for that water that we're discharging into rivers and streams, and in some case the ocean.
Now, you mentioned that part of your role has to do with communications. Is communicating the idea of water reuse for drinking water purposes still a difficult task for folks to understand?
Well, I suppose absolutely, but depending on where you are, communicating about water's use and reuse is very difficult in any event, because in the main our consumers don't understand it. After they use the water, it sort of goes away, out of sight, out of mind, and they don't think about it again. So if we can reframe those mental models about water's use and reuse, it's not so difficult. The problem is we don't do it very well, and we don't do it often enough.
Now, here we are in Abu Dhabi, a very arid region of the world, presumably a good candidate for water reuse technology. What's happening here? How is CH2MHill helping introduce this idea to the region?
Actually, I'm not an expert about Abu Dhabi, anything more than what I heard yesterday, which is that there's a lot of reuse happening, at least in terms of landscape irrigation, and I certainly see a lot of green around where that's occurring. But I don't have expertise particularly on Abu Dhabi. I can say that CH2MHill is a world leader in applying water reuse technologies as appropriate all around the world, and many of our clients are here.
And in the United States, what's happening? What are the big projects that we should be looking at?
The largest project for drinking water reuse in the world is the Orange County Groundwater Replenishment Program. The state of California has many projects underway or in trial, like the San Diego project. There's a lot of water reuse for irrigation in California and around the U.S. And as I indicated earlier, the U.S. is one of those places where everybody's downstream of everybody else, and so whether we acknowledge it or not, there's a lot of reuse occurring. The Water Reuse Research Foundation and the Water Reuse Association in the U.S., actually an international organization as well, is actively promoting water reuse in the U.S. There's much that's occurring in Texas. There's some on the East Coast, certainly in the area of Georgia and Florida. So it depends on what the right water for the right use really as to where the water reuse is occurring.
Well, it's good to know we're making progress, and
yeah.
Linda, thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome.